Hello everybody and welcome to Let's Talk Freedom Show. We are here today and we've got a show lined up for you. This is the show made by the people for the people, engaging the system in the battle of information, because as you know, the mainstream media works for the, is bought and paid for by the big corporations, by the big government, by the rich and powerful elite that run this world. So the mainstream media will never tell you the truth. And I just remember reading the news like a couple years back. 120 of the most powerful people in the world. I mean, I'm talking about the owners of corporations. I'm talking about the big people in banking and the big media, mainstream media owners. 120 of these people got together. They get together every year. It's still going on today. They get together every year in a hotel and they meet in secret. I mean, they call it private, but they meet in secret and the news never covers it. The mainstream media never talks about this. It's only recently that the mainstream media has talked about it, and now they admit that these people do meet in secret. This group is called the Bilderberg Group. So for those of you listening, go and research this for yourself. The Bilderberg Group. A few years back, anybody who will say that the Bilderberg Group existed, they'll be called crazy. People will laugh at them and say that it's not true. But now, because so much people have exposed it, the media, the mainstream media, has to cover this. But 120 of the most powerful people get together every year, and just in the recent years the media has covered this. But why didn't they cover it before? Because the same people that attend these meetings, the powerful corporation owners, the most powerful people in the world, they are the owners of the mainstream media. So they are not going to expose themselves. And I ask you, let's say 120 of the best football players in the world got together in a hotel every year. I guarantee you that the media will cover this. It will be in the front pages. But because it's the people that run the world, because it's the masters, and it's because the people meeting them in there are the people that run the world. So the mainstream media doesn't cover this. It's kept secret. And this thing about we being in the peak of civilization. I remember being in school and my teacher telling me that right now the civilization we live now is the peak. We're at the top. This is the most advanced humanity has ever been. And as a kid I believed this. I actually believed that we were at the most advanced stage of humanity. But as I started researching for myself and I started educating myself, I realized that we are actually not at the peak of civilization. We are not actually at the top of civilization. We are not humanity at its best. For example, I started by researching my own culture, where I came from, my roots. For example, the Incan Empire, the city of stone, Machu Picchu, and the Nazca lines. And I wonder, how did these people do that? For example, I've read that in the city of stone, Machu Picchu, the stones are cut so perfectly that you can't even get like a piece of paper through the middle of each one, and they are aligned so perfectly that with today's technology it will take years to make. It will take years to make. And the Nazca lines, you can only see them when you're in the air. And these are huge, like the Nazca lines are huge. And I was told that, and in school I remember being taught that the Incan civilization was a really primitive, that we were savages, that we were basically, the image that I got in my head, that we were Indians, native Indians dancing around the fire with our little bows and arrows and spears. But how could primitive people create these Nazca lines? How could primitive people create and build these cities made of stone? So I realized that the previous civilizations are not as primitive as they made us to believe. And I am more than sure that the system, that the culture we are right now, what we are taught is all a lie. We are taught that back then the civilizations were really primitive and basically savages, but that now, that civilization now is way more advanced. And I look at the Egyptian pyramids, and I look at, for example, the Aztecs and all the other civilizations, and you see the way they were organized, the way they were all into astrology. For example, the Mayan calendar that portrays the heavens and is so accurate, and is built according to the stars and stuff. And I realized that the civilizations back then can actually even be more advanced than what we have now. It's just that they wasn't into weapons, they wasn't into creating guns, weapons and killing each other. That's not civilization. It's that we think that because we have weapons now, that because we have cars, which we don't really need, because we got TVs, something that we don't need. We got phones, just because we got, what do you call that, the iPads, the TVs, the cars. We think that's advancement. They've made us think that having a fast car, that having a TV, that's progress. That's what they made us to believe. They've fooled you into thinking that progress is how fast the car can go, or how big your TV screen is, or if you've got a plasma TV. They've made you think that's progress. But when I research previous civilizations like the Aztecs, like the Mayans, like the Incas, they were into astrology, they were into mathematics, they were into agriculture, learning about the land, they were into learning about the mysteries of the universe. Like the Aztecs were highly into astrology. They will look at the heavens, because that's what's important. It's about, they had this question about what is the meaning of life, and they will look to the heavens and they will map out the heavens. They wasn't into making TVs and cars. That's not important. But see, we've been so conditioned to think that that's life. That life is watching TV, going to work, having money, making money. But yet, that's keeping you away from the incredible, amazing thing that is life. Just look around you. When was the last time you looked up into the stars? When was the last time you looked up and saw the stars and wondered, what is the meaning of life? And realize that each and every single star in the sky that you see is like a sun. It's just that the sun is the closest star, but each and every single star is a sun. And I remember being in science class and my teacher saying to me, imagine every single beach on the earth. Now imagine every single grain of sand, every single grain of sand on that beach. There must be billions and billions and billions. Every single grain of sand. Now she said, in the universe, there is way more stars than there are grains of sand in every beach on this world. So Earth is tiny. We are tiny. We are microscopic compared to the immense greatness of the universe. And if you look at past civilizations, that's why they were so interested into the stars. People had such a different set of mind. They wasn't thinking about Justin Bieber. They wasn't thinking about the movies or Spider-Man or Batman and all this false reality that nowadays we're into. They had other questions. They had other questions like, what is the meaning of life? Exploring the heavens, trying to find out what was it that we are here to do.